Welcome to another edition of Talking Veterans Affairs with Dennis Anderson. I'm Dennis Anderson. I'm an Army veteran, was airborne, very proud of it, and also a licensed clinical social worker who works with veterans. We're not affiliated with the VA, but our show is to try and help veterans, their families, and people who love them. So if you think we're doing good work, please subscribe. My guest returning is Krishna Flores. She was a corporal in the United States Marine Corps, an NCO. She was in combat in Iraq, and she had what some of us call the long voyage home. Even if Iraq and post 9/11 Afghan veterans don't get treated with the same disdain that many veterans of Vietnam did, coming home is very difficult for many. So maybe you can share about that a little bit, Krishna.
All right, well, thank you for having me back.
Appreciate it.
And when I got back from Iraq specifically,
Yep.
it was interesting. I was not excited to be home, like I told you. I struggled a lot with the treatment that I received from my peers in Iraq. Not only did I worry about the enemy outside of the wire, but also inside the wire,
Right.
Unfortunately. And I forgot where I was going with that.
That must have been awful.
It was very awful. So when I got back, I was very angry.
Uh-huh.
I was very numb. And then I started drinking, underage drinking. I turned 20 in Iraq, so when I returned home, I was 20 years old in Okinawa, and there was only 3 of us that had deployed from our unit.
Okay.
So my bestie, and then another lance corporal, and the sergeant that I don't like to talk to.
Okay.
So I didn't have a lot of people to talk to about what I was going through.
Was he part of your problem as opposed to your solution, the sergeant?
Yes.
Okay.
And I just struggled a lot, and eventually I got in trouble for underage drinking.
Okay.
And it ended up costing me my rank.
I find it astonishing that a Marine can get in trouble anywhere in the world for underage drinking.
Yes, Okinawa.
If they want to.
I sure didn't want to, but it happened. And I was drinking because I didn't know how to cope with whatever I was feeling or thinking at the time. And drowning it in alcohol was the only thing that seemed like I could do at the time.
Probably helped you sleep.
It did, and also didn't want to disclose I was having challenges.
Okay.
Nor did I know I was having challenges. I was just really angry and acting out.
Did you have flashbacks from Iraq that pertain to IEDs or anything like that?
Not initially.
Okay.
It took about 6 months of just a lot of noise and not really knowing what I was feeling.
All right.
It wasn't after 6 months that all of a sudden I was questioning what was going on with me and how I was responding in the Corps.
So you got out of the Corps, and then how was your life?
So I got married right before I got out of the Corps, and unfortunately that relationship wasn't great, and it led to domestic violence.
Oh.
Yes, and it almost led to me doing the most horrible thing, and
Okay.
I wanted to hurt my...
Were you suicidal?
No, but I was homicidal.
Okay. I got that. All right. Fair enough.
When my ex-husband was a Marine too, and when he laid his hands on me, I just wanted to decapitate him.
Okay.
And I didn't want to end up in jail, so I left the next day, and eventually we filed for divorce. I ended up going back home to my hometown, moving in with my mom.
Okay.
And that's when the PTSD really started to kick in, because I felt like my relationship failed. I got out of the Marine Corps feeling like, what am I going to do now? I didn't really have a plan. College was never for me. Before I joined, it was never for me, and I thought it would never be for me.
You have a master's degree now, don't you?
Yes, I do. Yes,
Wow.
I do. Yes. So, but it took a long time to get there, and it took the support of the VA, although it was not perfect.
Okay.
I had to go back to the VA several times because I felt like I wasn't being taken seriously.
Yes.
When I told my provider I was a combat veteran, they were like, so what did you do? You just sat on base? And it's like, no, I didn't just deploy there. I did all these other things.
You were in a gun turret.
Yes, sir. And I would do the longest time in the gun turret because I absolutely hated the conversations my male peers would have and the questions they would ask me. They were very derogatory, and I just didn't want to talk about that kind of stuff.
And you were also what we call a junior NCO. I mean, as a corporal, it's like a squad leader rank.
Well, actually, no. When I was in Iraq, I think I was a PFC.
Okay.
Or like,
Lance Corporal.
yeah.
Right.
So I wasn't, no, when I was out there, I was a boot.
Okay. All right. Well, that's true enough. But the thing is, what you said is you tried the VA and it didn't cook the first time. What would you say to people who are trying to help live better?
I'll say this. In reflection, I know I wasn't the best client. I wasn't completely convinced that therapy would help me.
Okay.
I wasn't convinced that yoga and meditation would be something for me because, one, I'm a Marine.
Right.
And we are badass.
Tough enough.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to curse.
No, badassery. That's
yeah,
good.
and it's hard for us to ask for help, even more so as a woman, when you have to not ever ask for help if you want to survive successfully to some extent in the Corps or maybe
Right.
any branch. So when you get out, it's the same thing. You don't want to ask for help.
It's a very man-centric Corps, your Corps.
Yes. And I had the first time I went to the VA, they gave me medicine. The medicine, I'm not saying it didn't work for me, but I had some serious side effects.
Okay.
I had shakings, or it increased my suicidal ideation. So I had to figure out what worked for me.
Right.
So then I tried therapy, talk therapy. And my first counselor or two, I wasn't able to build a rapport.
Okay.
But I would say that in reflection, what I have learned is it is important to commit to treatment and complete it. Because that's something I noticed I wasn't doing right at the beginning. I would hit this challenging part of therapy and be like, no, I don't want to come back. I don't want to do it anymore.
That's called hitting the wall.
Yes.
And I don't want to take us out of this too soon because it's too real. But I do want to say to all of you out there, if you are considering therapy to improve your life after service-impacted conditions, don't give up. Try it again. Don't give up. And Krishna Flores didn't give up, and that's why we're having a good talk today. So we're going to ask you to support the show. Please subscribe, and thank you for being with veterans and their families.